and welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Zeroshio.
I don't know what to do. I never heard 5.
And Versika.
What's up, gang?
So as you guys can tell, Versika doesn't have much of a voice this evening, but has still graced us with his presence. So
With my head shakes.
yes. So that is going to be how Versika communicates tonight, by a head shake. So
Yeah,
If you're
to
listening
the audio portion, you're just missing out.
If you listen to the audio portion, we'll say head shake anytime he head shakes.
all right. So
I need one of those virtual soundboards like Avanties has, so I can just like put my normal comments in there, just hit the button and send it through.
you record those for me. I'll load them into the soundboard.
I need to do that.
Maybe we could even fake a show when he's absent. Just be like, hit a button. He says, I don't think I agree with you, Zeroshio, and people will think it's just a normal show.
Hey, Boyd in chat says that Versika's a little horse, which matches well because I've been called a big donkey before. So,
You know it's bad. You know it's bad when you send a video feed over as Zeroshio is like, whoa, you look rough.
yeah. Yeah,
So-
that was last night. You look real rough.
Did you guys have a good week in Hearthstone? Zeroshio, we'll start with you because I know Versika's been busy.
I have been taking a break from Hearthstone, not completely. I'm playing decks for the show, and the THL Team Hearth League was about to start back up. We just did week 1, so now I'm back into Hearthstone. Didn't do too well in both my Ragnaros League or Sylvanas League weeks, but I have been hitting the ladder for practicing and have flown up from 15 to 7, like in a matter of a heartbeat, playing some of these decks, getting ready for the league. I feel a little more confident for the league. I am also taking a little softer approach where I'm taking some breaks each night, maybe an hour, playing a different game than Hearthstone so I don't get burned out this time, and that's really working well for me. It's keeping me from tilt. If I go on a losing streak, I take a break, play some Stardew Valley, get a couple days of that in, which is 15 minutes a day, and then go back to Hearthstone, and I seem to perform better. So that's my way of handling with tilt, and I'm ready to roll.
Awesome. Versika, I know you've been pretty busy gearing up for UHL. How many games did you get in this week?
209.
Wow.
Yeah.
209 practice games.
Yeah.
Wow.
209 games in the span of 5 days.
That's amazing. I get excited when I hit my 100 gold max, which is 30 wins.
Yeah. So,
That's crazy.
I've got. Hold on.
That's like
counting
Muzzy
pages.
level of dedication.
I have 14 pages of notes.
And for you kids at home, these are handwritten notes with something archaic called a pencil and paper.
I have the deck tracker too.
Yeah, but we all know he doesn't trust the deck tracker. That's why he uses the pencil and paper.
I use the pencil and paper because if I write it down, I tend to remember a little better what happened. So, as I'm reviewing the notes and I'm looking at my matches, I've got them divided by the deck I was practicing and by the deck I was facing, and then the style of the deck that I was facing. So it's like my deck, whether I went first or second, the matchup I was playing against, was it aggro, was it tempo, was it mid-range, was it control, and did I win or lose, and what turn I win or lost on.
Okay.
This is almost stray dog level of note taking with sticky notes all around the sides of your computer.
Yeah, so The decks that I'm playing for UHL are, I'm not going to ruin it. They're half meta and then half mad scientist. So you don't know what you're going to get on any given deck.
Now, just to clarify, this doesn't mean half of his decks are meta, half his decks are mad scientists. It could mean half the deck is meta and the other half of the one deck is also mad scientist. You never know what you're going to get out of Sica.
I know last night a couple of people tuned in to watch me practice, and I think they were surprised by some of the things that they saw.
So. I was one of them, and I was.
So, well, good.
I'll just say this. When it works fantastic. And when it doesn't, it's a crash and burn. So,
yeah. Yeah, Ramasi says that's why he can't talk. 209 games to yell about. So, so well, I got to actually play a little bit. I was house sitting for my parents this weekend, so I got to play quite a bit. In fact, Monday night, while I was watching the first half of the national championship football game, I was playing, and our good friend Goldie over at Aussie Geek Show actually spectated me while he went on break, so I got to play for his audience I guess I got about 4 games in during his smoke break, and it was a lot of fun. So I got a few games in. I didn't get anywhere near Versika level of games, but I probably played 40 or 50 games this weekend, so it was a lot of fun.
Well, do you guys remember when I said that the reason that I don't get competitive, that I hadn't gotten competitive with Hearthstone, is because when I get competitive, I'm like all in 1,000%. This is kind of what I was talking about. It's that strive to, I don't know, perform at a level that is acceptable to me. So,
gotcha.
Well, I'll tell you, Goldie over at Aussie Geek Show on Twitch, twitch.tv/Aussie Geek Show. A lot of times he will spectate a friend of his that's playing Hearthstone whenever he goes on smoke break, which usually ends up being about 4 or 5 games or one of my control versus control matches. So it's a lot of fun. If you're on his friends list when he's streaming, you might have a chance to. He'll ask you, of course, if you mind him spectating you while he goes on break, and it's a lot of fun. It's cool.
Yeah. So I guess we should probably get to the news. We do have some breaking news. This was posted about 25-30 minutes ago, right before the show. And Blizzard has announced the HCT 2018 tour stops. Now, if you guys will remember from one of our past shows, we talked about this, how the tour stops are replacing your major events this year. So, basically, they say, get your passports ready, because it's time to travel. And the Hearthstone Championship Tour is going all around the world in 2018, talking large-scale Hearthstone tournaments that will be landing in major cities near you this year. Tour stops will come in a variety of formats, but they will all have 2 things in common: competitive Hearthstone and exotic locales. So there will be 2 types of tour stops. You'll have Grand Prix, which a Grand Prix tour stop will require a minimum of 128 players in attendance on site and may be run in Swiss or double elimination formats. Participating players must cover their own travel and accommodations for Grand Prix tour stops. Your next top is what they're calling online to offline. So an online to offline tour stop will have a minimum of 4 online 256 player brackets leading up to a 16 player offline playoff tournament. Where applicable, a minimum of 1 online bracket will be reserved for the specific competitive sub-region. So, Latin America, Southeast Asia, Taiwan, that the tour stop is held in. 2 online brackets will be dedicated to the wider competitive region the tour stop is held in. So these are going to be your big events that are, you know, replacing kind of your Dreamhacks and stuff like that. So dates and announcements. Right now, some of these are still being worked on, but the first HCT tour stop has yet to be announced. It'll be held in February in Europe. Then they are having Copa America Stop 1, which will be February 17th and 18th in the Americas. Then they're hosting HCT Sydney, which will be February 24th and 25th. That is, of course, in Sydney, Australia, which is the Asia-Pacific region. Then there is a to-be-announced event in March of 2018 in Europe. And then they're holding EGLX, which is going to be one of the largest events in the Americas. That is actually held in Canada. And that is March 9th through the 11th. And then you've got HCT Bangkok, which is March 24th and 25th. Again, that it will be your Asia-Pacific tour stop region. So, as you can see, they're really trying to build these up and make these big, important events. They're holding them, spreading them out all over the globe. So, you know, you're really getting the chance to go out and see more of the world and do more and play more Hearthstone. And I'm excited to watch it and see how it unfolds.
So, seeing that EGLX is on this list, we know that every year Dreamhack has multiple events all over the world, and they have a Hearthstone Grand Prix event at their location that awards HCT points. Do you think that obviously there's no Dreamhack events for February and March right now scheduled? Do you think that Dreamhack will fall in these Grand Prix Tour lists?
I think it might. Once they come around. Then again, they may not, because, you know, I don't know. You know, that's going to come up to the esports team, which I don't think I could have gotten anything. I actually got to interview a member of the Blizzard esports team last night on the Innkeepers podcast, and we talked about changes to the Tavern Hero system. We didn't really talk a lot about the tour stops, because obviously they hadn't made these announcements yet. So most of what we talked about last night pertained to the Challenger Cups and the Tavern Hero qualifiers. But I think you could see this. You could see one of these tour stops at a Dreamhack if the Dreamhack falls within Blizzard's scheduled time frame. Yeah. I don't think Blizzard will schedule their event around Dreamhack, but I think if Dreamhack happens to fall in the right time frame, it could happen.
Yeah, I could see Dreamhack Austin falling in that it'd be summer, or maybe the end of spring. I think it's in June, beginning of June. But obviously with Dreamhack Atlanta being right around BlizzCon time, that probably wouldn't fall in the HCT Grand Prix schedule. But all the various Dreamhacks that happen in Europe and stuff might actually fall in this, and that'll be really good for kind of your lesser known players, because Dreamhack is customarily an open, and if you can pretty much go there and it's going to award a comparable enough points to qualify you for the playoffs, which right now Dreamhack first place I believe got is it 15 points, and with the new system it may go up.
Yeah,
if they fall in the same.
Yeah,
list.
so if you go to eglx.ca/Hearthstone, that's EGLX's website for the Hearthstone event. They actually have, you know, the prize breakdown, and first place will walk away with 15 points and $5,000 in cash. Second prize is 12 points and $3,000 in cash. Third and fourth both get 10 points and $1,500, so on and so forth. So, yeah, they're actually paying.
So similar to the way Dreamhack already does it,
right? They're paying out all the way to 32nd place.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
Wouldn't DreamHack have to change their format?
No.
Yes, because
Does it have to be Conquest?
Yes. That is something that is I didn't actually think about, but yeah, that's a good point for Sica. Is Blizzard is specifying the rules that have to be used for these events. Basically, individual organizers cannot do whatever they want for these events and then be considered legal. They have to adhere to a strict set of rules that Blizzard has put out for this year's events. So,
do we know if Last Hero Standing is a format that's in that list?
To my knowledge, it is not at this time. I have received the rules updates for Tavern Hero qualifiers and for Challenger Cups. This year you can no longer do best of 5. It has all matches have to be best of 3. So all matches are now best 2 out of 3. You've got to do it has to be either Swiss or double elimination into a single elimination playoff. And that's kind of those are the kind of standard rules that the esports team has put out that all tournament organizers must follow for the 2018 season.
So if we see the Grand Prix format change for DreamHack, it's likely they're trying to do that to accommodate the HCT point distribution.
Probably, yeah. In fact, EGLX actually says all tournament matches. Now, so the best of 3 is, let me make certain you guys understand, the best of 3 is for Challenger Cups and THQs. Majors and HCT tournaments are still going to be best of 5.
Gotcha. Okay, that's mainly for time because these challengers are 256 people events, and,
right?
And to try to do a best of 5, yeah, that makes sense. So
yeah, and THQs, require a minimum of 16 players and a minimum of 4 rounds of Swiss. If you have 17 players, if you have between 17 players and 32 players, you're required to do 5 rounds of Swiss. So they're even regulating how many rounds of Swiss have to be played based on player participation.
Well, it's good to see them lock down these formats because that means they're taking this esports seriously.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes into our next news. Ben Brode just recently made a tweet about upcoming balance changes. And we put the link in the show notes. Basically, he just says that they've been reading about balancing. They have an update coming in the next couple months. But right now, they're going to be going to the HCT World Championship. See you next week.
So I would expect next weekend.
Yeah, I would expect in the next month to month and a half, we'll probably hear something about balance changes, which may also address some of the latter concerns people were having. We don't know. He didn't go into specifics on what those would cover. But I'm really excited for those changes.
So I want to point out a good friend of ours, Wicked Good. You guys may know him from the Hearthstone community. There's a lot of debate going on this Ben Brode post, this Twitter post, and Wicked Good says, and I love this comment because I love the idea of this change. He says, I could see them changing Corridor Creeper to only be discounted by your minions that died to make it more of an aggro-specific card when you also have control decks running it. That's probably a sign they overshot the target. What do you guys think? Do you think Corridor Creeper is too overpowered?
Well, I do think it's too overpowered, but I was thinking that maybe it would be discounted on your opponent's minions that died. But I mean, I guess it works the same direction. If you're seeing it mainly in aggro matchups and you want to keep it in those aggro decks, it would be better to put it in a deck that's sacrificing those minions, which kind of goes counterproductive with aggro sometimes. It's kind of give and take. You got to make value trades. I like that change. That's a really good change. I think it would be really good.
So all right. So if you guys were not aware at this time, starting today through February the 9th, Twitch Prime started a new promotion. And basically, you just log in to Hearthstone if you're a Twitch Prime member, and you get 2 free packs of Kobolds and Catacombs. You don't even have to go to the Twitch page and click, sign in, link my account, get my prize. You don't have to do any of that. You just have to sign into Hearthstone, and there they are. It was really nice that they made that little tweak, and you don't have to click to get your prize.
So on this, there is some verbiage that kind of makes me concerned. They had the October Brawl, which is obviously not available anymore. They had the special gold card packs, which is past, not available. Now they have these 2 free packs. But it says last chance for Hearthstone Loot with your Twitch Prime membership. Does this mean they're not going to do any more Hearthstone Loot in, maybe the rest of this year? Because that's kind of sad, because I've been really enjoying the extra packs and the cool little rewards from being a Twitch Prime subscriber.
Versika is just nodding his head like he agrees with you that it may be the last time we see it this year.
I think we've seen Heroes Loot and we've seen Hearthstone Loot. I would imagine that contract with Blizzard probably extends to all their games. So
okay.
I would imagine that we may see some Overwatch loot come, some Diablo loot come, maybe some StarCraft, maybe some WoW loot. Start extending that love to some of the other games.
Yeah, and I agree with you there, and I think it's a good idea. The only concern I have is obviously the Heroes loot that you got from Twitch Prime is for Heroes of the Storm, which is a free-to-play game, and Hearthstone is also a free-to-play game. If they go to their other IPs, you're now delving into areas that aren't free-to-play game. It kind of limits your market. You not only have to be a Twitch Prime member, which is an Amazon Prime member, you also have to have paid for those IPs from Blizzard. And I wonder if that's kind of missing the mark there, or if it's maybe also good marketing in a way that maybe they'll want to buy Overwatch just so they can get more benefits from the Twitch Prime.
Well, and if you look at a lot of your other Twitch Prime loot that comes down outside of the Blizzard family, most of those games you have to pay for. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, now I know Blizzard and Twitch just signed a contract pertaining specifically to Overwatch League. Basically, Twitch signed a 2-year deal to exclusively host every match of Overwatch League and paid $90 million for those exclusivity rights.
Whoa! Which probably opens up the gate for more Twitch, the Twitch Prime awards to go towards Overwatch games.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see how that pans. Overwatch League starts today, January 10th, the first official day of the league, and it's also, for those of you who don't know, the first official day of HCT Competitive Season 1. So, runs from today through March 4th for Season 1 of HCT. So, if you're interested now's the time to start grinding points and looking for THQs.
Speaking of HCT Competitive, we talked about, I think a couple weeks ago, about how they're changing the reward system for HCT and they're rewarding points to different teams. So you're going to start seeing some of the Hearthstone teams jockey for some of the more popular players or streamers, mainly pro players. And one tweet was sent out by Amnesiac announcing on Twitter that he is parting ways with NRG, amicably, of course, that they couldn't come up with an agreement to continue their contract. And he does have plans, and we left the link to the video on his Twitter in our show notes.
Cough, cough, Tempo Storm, cough, cough.
Basically, he talks that he does have possible plans for a team in the future, and he'll be coming out with those announcements.
For those of you listening at home, that was a Versika head shake. Okay.
He does make a very solid statement that he is going to go to HCT to to Amsterdam to support his fellow players and other other Hearthstone pro players, and do some stuff up there, I'm sure, for the Hearthstone community. But he implored everybody to root on Muzzy. Now, Muzzy is a known practice partner of Amnesiac, but he's also a member of Tempo Storm. So there is kind of a lot of theories that he has been approached by Reynad, the president of Tempo Storm, to join that team, and that's one of the reasons why he's promoting Muzzy. Of course, there's other Tempo Storm players in the World Championships, and he didn't mention them. So this could just be him wanting to support a fellow friend and pro player and practice partner. There is no solid proof that he is going to Tempo Storm. There's been no leaks of meetings with Reynad or any other member of Tempo Storm that I've been able to find. But it would be a great fit. I would love to see him join another team, whether it's Tempo Storm or not, and be able to kind of shed the image of Amnesiac that he kind of started when he joined NRG.
NRG will be fine. They've still got a Moz.
Yeah. So I think that this is good for Amnesiac. This is going to help him grow in the community, and I'm excited to see what he does, whether it's with a team or not on a team. Maybe Team LOL decides to actually make an actual team and picks him up. That would be really cool. I'd love to see him with the likes of Chalky. I think that'd be a great pair.
Oh, Amnesiac and Chalky in the same room. Ugh.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that brings us to the other thing happening this week.
The important news.
The important news. That's right. Not only does today start the first season of HCT, not only does today start the first season of the Overwatch League, but today starts the first week of the United Hearthstone League. And the matches for week 1 are set. Those of you that have been following us the last few weeks know how excited we are about this. Our very own Versika is participating. The week 1 schedule is 1600 Dusts CM Plumber versus 1600 Dusts Spaver.
A grudge match for the ages.
I love that they were matched up against each other first.
Then you've got 1600 Dusts Ziggy Sarah versus the Happy Hearthstones Andrew Brown. That's going to be a fun match to watch.
Yeah,
yes.
That'll be a good match.
In the third matchup of the week, you have Dad Legend Ben Reddington versus Tier 5's Rod Johnston. Let me tell you, that will be a lot of fun.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that match is happening tonight at 8:30 Pacific.
And then we have the final match of the week, which will be taking place tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern. We will try to stream that on our channel, twitch.tv/ECMMOGamers. But it's our very own Versika versus Coin Concede's Ridiculous Hat.
You know, it's hard to say Coin Concede's Ridiculous Hat, because Ridiculous Hat is part of every Hearthstone community known to man.
He is.
And if you're not known to man, I imagine a Ridiculous Hat up in New York having like underground Hearthstone Fight Club league. With just him with this giant purple hat and these guys shirtless with iPhones and iPads.
So if you're not following United Hearthstone League on Twitter, they're posting like hype boards of the matches as they're set, and to try to give everybody streaming times so that you know where to tune in and find what you're looking for. So I know we're going to try to stream the match on ECMMO Gamers. I know Ridiculous Hat is streaming it on his channel, twitch.tv/Ridiculous Hat. And our hype selection just came out about a minute ago, where it gives us our class selection. So this is the first time I'm seeing what he's bringing. So I'm bringing Shaman, Priest, and Druid to the match, and he is bringing Rogue, Shaman, and Warrior to the match. So it's going to be a very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting bout.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
And, I want to see a Shaman versus Shaman between you and Ridiculous Hat, because that is going to be a battle.
If you're not familiar with the rules of the United Hearthstone League, once you use a class, you can't use that class again until you have played all the other classes. So, after this week, Rogue, Shaman, and Warrior will be unavailable for Ridiculous Hat. Shaman, Priest, and Druid will be unavailable for me. So it's going to be pretty unique to watch, everyone's class selections for this week, because then you look at their next 2 weeks and you look at their other opponents and you're just like, whoa, what's he going to bring for that matchup? And what are they going to bring for that matchup? And oh my God, that's what they're left with. So it'll be interesting.
One big shout out I want to make is to Ferris Biscuit. He is really doing a great job organizing this, getting it hyped up, getting all the communities involved. He's done everything just short of getting odds at the Vegas betting tables. He's just really done a good job of getting this.
Wait a minute. Can we get odds at the Vegas betting tables?
That'd be great. I bet on Versika every time. But the one thing I want to focus on is a lot of people have talked about how, they've trickled out some of the information and they've slowly let everybody know the players. And I think this is just absolutely magnificent and brilliant tactic by Ferris Biscuit to really hype up. Everybody's waiting the next 2 days on Twitter to find out when the next player is going to be announced, and he's making sure to announce these things on Twitter and on the websites and doing bios of the players. Definitely go over to UnitedHearthstoneLeague.com. They have great information on the players. They have color coordinated schedules set up. It's top notch, and this is his first season doing this. He's only going to get better as he goes from week to week and comes up with better ideas. I'm really excited for the United Hearthstone League, and I really hope that it has the support, and that's up to you listeners and fans and supporters of these podcasts and these communities, has the support to have a season 2. We're just getting into week 1. There's going to be 7 weeks of regular play. Make sure to support these players in the United Hearthstone League at United HS League on Twitter and over at UnitedHearthstoneLeague.com. Make sure to support them and let them know this is something you want to see, so he can continue to make it bigger, make it better, and do multiple seasons.
Okay, there you go. All right, so with that said, that brings us to this week's Tavern Brawl, which is Shadow Reflection. Build a deck of any size, and we'll fill in the rest of the 30 cards with Shadow Reflections that copy the last card you play. So, I've actually been pretty busy today and did not get a chance to do this before the show. Have either of you guys had a chance to play the Tavern Brawl today? Both of you?
I have not. I really wanted to, but I didn't have time. This looks like so much fun, but since Versika's played it, tell us a little bit about it.
So, you can build an entire 30-card deck. The gist of the Tavern Brawl, it's pretty ingenious. Whatever cards you don't fill in the 30-card deck, they're replaced with a stable card of the hero power of Valera when you switch to her Death Knight. So when you play with the Valera Death Knight, you draw a card, and then your hero power activates. And for that turn, you get to play one copy of a card that you play out of your hand. Well, in this one, you have the chance to draw a card that does that. So, for instance, in my first game, I played both games as Rogue. In my first game, I went second. So in my opening hand, I had Sinister Strike and 4 shadow copies of it if I played it. So by the end of that game, on my last, the turn that I won, I had a 0 cast Shadow Strike to start, and all of the cards in my hand, the other 8 cards, were Sinister Strikes. So the card that I was waiting on drawing was Barnes. And I Barnes into Malagos and just shot Sinister Strikes across the board.
Oh my God. Oh, that's a genius.
So it was pretty fun. So my next bout in, I went with Barnes, Lotheb, I'm blanking on his name, but he's the 5/5 from he's the 5/5 that reduces the cost of everything in your hand.
Emperor Thorson.
Emperor Thorson. So I had Barnes, Emperor Thorson, and Lotheb. Those were my 3 minions. And I had Shadow Step, and then I had Beneath the Grounds.
Oh.
So I basically just flooded his. I waited and kind of just mimicked around with what I needed to do, and then I flooded him full of spiders. And in one turn, he was playing Druid. On turn 10, he hit me with Ultimate Infestation and filled my board full of spiders.
Nice.
10 mana, gain 5 armor, put a 5/5 on the board, and 7 4/4s for your opponent.
Yeah, he conceded when he finished drawing the cards. But
that's hilarious.
Normally for me, a Tavern Brawl is a one and done. This is one that you're taking a unique aspect of the Rogue, probably the best aspect of the Rogue from Knights of the Frozen Throne. I feel like Valyria really was never, like, no one's really found her full potential yet. And you're taking that hero power, which is unique, and you're allowing all the other classes to play with it. So this is going to be a Tavern Brawl that I revisit in between my practice sessions, and I'm at least going to play a couple of games with every class just to see what kind of shenanigans you can create. There's going to be a lot of people that figure out, well, hey, you can just Frostbolt and, or like my first game, of course, the first thing I did was think Sinister Strike. It's 1, and, I can just machine gun it across the board. You're going to have those, but I think a lot of people are going to get out there and have fun with it. So I think this is a Tavern Brawl that I think, on the chance that it doesn't get repeated often, is one that we probably should take the time to really get in and explore. And it might lead you to a deck idea later on down the line. Planting that seed of imagination, and hopefully, later on down the line, something will come out and it will trigger this, and you'll be like, oh yeah, in that Tavern Brawl, I kind of did this, and I bet this will let me do this, and it's got that kind of potential.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm gonna definitely probably try to give it a shot after the show tonight. So, all right, so let's talk about this week's deck. Now, been seeing a lot of big Spell Priest Spotful Summoner type lists out there. It's a really popular deck list right now, and I had a quest come up recently that was like, play 50 priest cards, and I was like, hey, I don't have a priest deck. I need to put one together. And so I started building a deck that was kind of an amalgamation of Spiteful Summoner and my favorite, it'll never change, but my favorite priest archetype is Dragon Priest. I've always loved playing Dragon Priest. So I kind of built this amalgamation of Dragon Priest and big spell Spiteful Summoner, kind of just took them and mashed them together. And this is what I came up with. So I built this deck strictly, just kind of playing around with it. And the deck list is 2 Northshire Clerics, 2 Fairy Dragons, 2 Nether Spot Historians, 2 Curious Glimmerroot, 2 Cabal Talon Priest, 2 Tar Creepers, 2 Duskbreakers, 1 Spellbreaker, 1 Twilight Drake, 2 Cobalt Scalebane, 2 Draconid Operative, 2 Spiteful Summoner, 2 Bone Mare, 1 Corridor Creeper, 2 Free from Amber, 1 Grand Archivist, and 2 Mind Controls. So obviously this deck can go a lot of ways. The way I play it is I play it more control oriented. I look for the Tar Creepers early. I look for the Dusk Breakers for board clear. Those whenever I'm mulliganing in this, I'm looking for an early game to just basically not push damage, but combat the board more or less. Curious Glimmerroot has gotten me some crazy cards, along with Draconid Operative. Those of you in our patron Discord may have seen a picture I posted earlier this week where I was playing this deck and got Ren the First Disciple. I got Twisting Nether, and I had another big Warlock card in my hand. And turn 10, I just mind controlled his Void Lord, and he conceded. So I mean, nice. It's a really fun deck to play. The only spells in the deck are the 2 Free from Amber and the 2 Mind Controls. So anytime you Spiteful Summoner, you're going to get an 8 mana or a 10 mana spell. Obviously, you don't want to draw those. You want those to stay in the deck for the Spiteful Summoners or the Grand Archivist. If you're going to cast them, let the Archivist cast them for you. But it's just a lot of fun. It's my own twist on this. Like I said, I'm a big Dragon Priest fan. So, for Sica, you got something you want to mention?
I'm going to give you a stat on this Priest deck. So I started the season at 25, at rank 25. I didn't play much last month. So 209 games to get to rank 14, which is where I got to before I went back down to the rank floor. Out of those 209 games, 86 of them came against Summoner Priest.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of it on the ladder right now.
Yeah.
It is hands down, I'm looking 7 games against Rizaka's Priest, and then all the others are like 1 and 2 games where I don't think it could figure out what they were playing. But yeah, 86 games against Spiteful Summoner Priest.
Yeah, guys, we always try to bring you a deck that is relevant that you might see on the ladder, and as Versika just kind of proved, this one is pretty prevalent in one version or another. Like I said, this is just kind of my version that I built to play with and have been having a lot of fun with. Zeroshio, I know you've been kind of playing around with this deck a little bit. How's it been doing for you?
It's done really well for me. I actually got quite a few games in with it, and I had a bit of learning curve with it because I had some games where I didn't mulligan properly, and I actually learned that if you have Spiteful Summoner, you almost always keep it. The rest of your deck's trying to stall to get to that turn 6, especially if you have the coin. I never tossed back to Spiteful Summoner. Once I realized that, my win rate started going up. I went 20 and 15, which is a 57% win rate, which is nominal. But I noticed in my last bit of matches is when I really started picking up steam and got away from the losing streaks and got more consistent wins. So it's really good. I did have a very good start with it. I went 6-0 in my very first 6 games with it, which made me go, well, okay, there's obviously work with it. But then I started noticing the biggest problem I was having was getting the Spiteful Summoner. And while I wasn't mulliganing for it before, I was not keeping it, but drawing it on curve. But when I didn't draw it on curve, I suffered a loss. So I learned just keep it in my opening hand. And I think every time I kept it in my opening hand, I ended up winning. Yeah. The aggro lists can rush you down a little quick if you if you don't get the Dustbreaker. But you got to remember you're running 2 Dustbreakers in here, and you're not running Dragonfire Potion, but you're running another Spite Historian, which has a raised chance of getting you a class card.
Another Duskbreaker, which
will get you another Dustbreaker. Also, I've had some mirror matches with priests, and that, especially if I'm playing against Rozaka's priest, and the Draconid Operative can get you some board clears from your opponent and use it against you, especially when you're playing Warlocks and you get Hellfires. You're playing Twisting Nethers. You're playing against other priests and you get Dragonfire Potions or possibly another the Dustbreaker from the opposing Dragon Priest. So there's a lot of really good options for possible board removal. But really it's all about just getting the big minions they can't deal with. Kind of what you would do with like a Jade Druid. I like this deck. It's a lot of fun.
So the only change I made, and I was playing around with this earlier today, was based on a match that actually Zeroshio was spectating last night as I was practicing. The deck that we ran into with this last night actually had Dragonfire Potion teched in. And I think the reason why this deck doesn't run Dragonfire Potion as much is because of the Priest matchup, because it's so weak in the mirror match right now, because most priests are running dragons. So what I did was I actually took out the Bone Mares. I took out both Bone Mares. I added in a Psychic Scream, and then I added in a second Corridor Creeper, and I actually found a little more success with it after doing those 2 things. And it actually, Psychic Scream turned out to be, if you're careful about when you cast the Spiteful Summoner, Psychic Scream turned out to be game-winning both times it was pulled.
Yeah, and to be honest, the Psychic Scream is not so punishing with the Spiteful Summoner. It's more punishing with the one Grand Archivist, because not only does it cast the spell, it takes it out of your deck. So you might end up casting Psychic Scream when you don't really need to. And on top of that, you also don't have your Psychic Scream anymore. So if you do tech in, and that's considerations I had for both Dragonfire Potion and Psychic Scream, maybe putting a one of in it and making sure to draw it before you cast the Grand Archivist, because there is a chance of it going awry.
Yeah, Grand Archivist is it's a unique card, and it's kind of something that I don't know that I would play until after I had probably my mind controls, and if you're running Psychic Scream already in hand, that's kind of when you're fishing for your free for ambers.
Yeah, here's the one thing a lot of people don't realize with Grand Archivist. Grand Archivist will not cast a spell it cannot cast. So if the board is empty on your opponent's side, it will not cast Mind Control. Furthermore, if your board is full on your side, it will not cast Free from Amber. There have been times that I had 7 minions on my board, and they had nothing on the other side, but I still had the Free from Ambers and the Mind Controls on my deck. It didn't cast either one. So it's not going to waste your spell. A lot of people were worried it would waste your spell. It's not going to do that. It's only going to cast it if it can legally cast it in the game.
Yep. And Ramasi in chat says he's running a very similar list, except he's replaced Tar Creeper with Stonehill Defenders.
That's pretty good. The only difference, the only thing about Stonehill Defenders is you don't have any great priest minions with taunt. So it doesn't have as much punch as having a Stonehill Defender and, say, a Shaman or a Paladin.
Yeah. So, and want to throw a shout out to Ramasi, who just signed up for our Patreon over at patreon.com/heropower. So welcome, sir. Glad to have you aboard. I will shoot you an email right after the show with all your information. So,
but he has always been part of the team.
Yeah.
But now he's a patron and he's in our hearts. So thank you so much, Ramasi.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess you guys have any last thoughts about anything we talked about this week before we move on to the play portion of the show, Zeroshio?
No, all I got to say is HCT is kicking up. Esports for Blizzard games kicking up. You're going to have a lot of busy weekends and even some weeknights, it looks like, with the OWL. So, get your popcorn, get your drinks ready, and it's going to be a good spring coming up with all these wonderful esports kicking off.
All right, Versika?
Yeah, I know I'm the underdog in the UHL, so any practice that... Excuse me, I had to cough. I didn't want to cough in your ear. Any practice partners out there that want to help me practice, I would love to benefit from your expertise. So if you guys want to just send me a shout on Twitter, or if you're in the Discord, just shoot me a message in Discord, and I will do my best to work my practice schedule around you guys. So any help would be greatly appreciated. I wanted to give a shout out to Apex Predator, who helped me practice some last night, and of course Zeroshio was in spectating me, and Inked was in as well. And I just wanted to thank them for their help.
And if you want to be part of the Discord, so you can get involved in those practice sessions with Versika or just our community at all, you can join over at patreon.com/heropower. And there's one thing I want you to remember is, Versika, you might be the underdog, but remember, underdog was still a superhero.
That is absolutely right. So, all right. Well, I don't really have anything else I want to add to that, except first week of SHL happened, and the Hero Power Rangers faced off against Dad Legend. We are super proud of you guys and look forward to seeing how the rest of the season goes. So
hopefully better than week one against Dad Legend, because they trounced us. Now, I do want to give a big shout out to Boyd, our 5th seed. He really kind of gave us the points and pulled us in. I unfortunately was matched up against Yellow Dart, who tagged my number and 03'd me. I am getting used to the last hero standing format. That's not an excuse at all. It's just a little bit of a learning curve, and I plan to bring it for this week. I have my match tomorrow, and hopefully, start winning some matches.
There you go. All right. So that's going to do it for us this week. If you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned to the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOgamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, or if you would just like to join our Discord and hang out with us on a daily basis, you can do that at patreon.com/HeroPower. We'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty, gentlemen. Let's just jump right into this. Because I've got Overwatch League to watch.
Yeah, the OWL is strong. The team I want to watch, the Dynasty. I think it's
okay. So
Dynasty.
Who are you guys rooting for as your team in the OWL? Have you picked a team yet?
I have Dynasty. I think they're out of Seoul.
Yeah, you always pick the favorites.
5 of the 6 players played at BlizzCon, so
I haven't decided yet. I'm still looking.
I think I'm going to pull for the Boston Uprising this season. I'm excited to see how they do. So, all right. So opening hand, we have Netherspot Historian, Cabal Talon Priest, Curious Glimmerroot, Fairy Dragon, and we top deck the Spellbreaker. So
I think you coin into Historian here.
Okay, just kind of go ahead and ramp it on. Because we are playing against a Druid, and chances of it being a aggro Druid are probably pretty good.
I think you go with Bone Drake.
Bone Drake over the Malagos and Ysera.
Yeah, if we were playing against Priest, I would pick Ysera, but I think against the Druid, I think you want the Bone Drake.
Okay.
Yeah, and having the Fairy Dragon to put out on 2 is good because Wrath can't hit it, he can't swipe it. He's going to have to damage it down.
Yeah. And then we just go right into either the Talon Priest or the Glimmerroot based on what he plays.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like
I think playing the Talon Priest onto that Fairy Dragon is going to make it very hard to get rid of.
Yeah, plus it's going to... Now, you can't heal the Fairy Dragon with your hero power. But I might have cleared the 3/3, but that's pressure. That's fine.
I think I would put it on him to clear it. And if he doesn't run it in, you can clear it with the 3/4 this next turn.
Yeah, and preserve. That's a minion you can heal and preserve the Fairy Dragon's health a little bit. Now we are in a position where we're definitely going to want to Spiteful Summoner on 6.
Mm-hmm. All right, so
I think you Glimmerroot here.
I think we just go ahead and Glimmerroot.
Yeah, start out with Glimmerroot. I mean, pretty obvious we're going to pick any ramp cards. Obviously, he's running Malfurion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be Malfurion. Which tells us he's not running any kind of lower-end taunt.
So
he's definitely not aggro.
Should we run the Talon Priest in or just leave it for him to clear?
I'd run it in.
Yeah, I think I would run it in as well.
Yeah, preserve our 3/3.
He ramped with that Nourish, so...
Yeah. Well, he's going to.
There's Medivh.
This is weird because usually this is a Twig of the World Tree build if you put Medivh in, and they want the Medivh to overwrite the Twig, but obviously he's not going that direction.
Well, you're applying more pressure than he's used to from a Priest.
Yeah.
So I think...
What do you think about Northshire, heal to draw a card, and then play the Dragon?
I like Tar Creeper here.
I was going to say, I think we
Tar
could
Creeper
be
heal?
playing right into a Spreading Plague turn.
Yeah.
So I think Tar Creeper and heal the 3/1 and send everything to face.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing a spreading plague. I think with 4 cards in hand, he's going to draw into his 5th. We're going to get UI, and he's going to get a 10 drop off of Medivh. I think he's setting that up, which is actually not bad for us. Oh, mind control. And he took our strongest minion. Interesting.
There's our weekly tale from Mr. Torlin.
Salt mines for Torlin. Good job.
All right, so I guess we're still going to spiteful here.
I think this is spiteful.
I agree.
Spiteful, and we may even go face. Just keep the pressure up.
I think we spiteful and go face.
What do we get off this? I love getting Grommash off.
Oh, the absolute worst possible minion.
Well, the worst 10 drop at least.
Yeah. The worst possible 10 drop.
Now,
He still really needs to clear it, though.
yeah. We'll see you, Goldie. Thanks for checking out, man. I know you got to get to bed, man. You have a good night. And there's a taunt, which we can silence that. Him having a full board is actually good for us. He's probably going to clear as much as he can.
All right, what are you guys thinking here?
Do we Malfurion?
I think so.
Go
Because if we
with
Malfurion for taunts, it's at least going to put our Corridor Creeper down to 1 mana next turn.
And it gives us 5 extra armor.
Yeah.
And right now we can only heal for 2.
Yep.
We'll be able to armor for 3.
And we can use it offensively if we feel inclined. We are a bit behind. This is a tough matchup that I found is Druid, because they just get so much value on the board, and you're not running any real board clears. And we haven't seen a single Dustbreaker yet.
no.
And a Dustbreaker would really do well against this board.
I was really kind of sad we didn't get one off the Historian at the beginning. Because I normally
that would have been nice.
always get Duskbreakers off the Historian.
Dustbreaker or Draconet Operative have a higher chance. His Jade count's really low right now. Wow, we are getting nothing.
So I think I'm going to go Cobalt, Tar Creeper, Corridor Creeper.
Yeah, I think we're
you
dead
pretty much
anyway,
have
so.
to, but you're dead.
Yeah.
You're
we're
dead
pretty much
anyways. Yeah, because he can just pretty much trade just Aya in and then go face.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he got some. His ramp was great. I mean, he got the Wild Growth and the Mire Keeper and the Nourish. And he ramped with Nourish. So he just had really strong curve.
All right. Let's try it again.
And
That
obviously
game actually went
Hearthstone
pretty quick.
Hearthstone wants us to check out the OWL as well because they are making these matches really fast for us.
So just a heads up, based on the stats from my last week, Druid is this deck's worst matchup.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Now we're looking at a Mage.
that is this deck's best matchup.
So I'm going to throw back the Free from Amber, and I think I'm going to keep everything else.
You can't heal the Fairy Dragon with the Northshire Cleric.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that Northshire Cleric's going to help you out much.
So keep
Actually, yeah.
nuggets.
Actually, if it's Secret Mage, it will, because you can run it into the Lackey. So yeah, just, I guess, the free for Amber.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, we got the coin, unfortunately, but if we were on turn 1, we could Northshire and then heal the next turn if we had to run it into something. But he's going to get the initiative. Oh, and he doesn't have Lackey. That's good.
So just trot out the Northshire?
Yeah. Because even if he puts on, Mana Worm or something, we can run it in and draw a card.
And at worst, he is a target for Frostbolt, so...
Well, and unless he's got a way to play the secret, if it's Secret Mage, he's probably less likely to play the one that pulls a secret for you. And I'm blanking on the name. My cough medicine is muddling my thoughts.
The archaeologist.
Archaeologist.
So
I like Fairy Dragon here.
Okay.
Well, the thing about playing Fairy Dragon is if you have a Dragon Activator.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking.
That's true.
Hold it.
Then maybe we just heal our face, because I don't want to use a coin. I like to use a coin with the Spiteful.
Right. Use the coin on 5 to cast the Spiteful Summoner. Yep.
There's the secret. I'm willing to bet this is probably explosive runes. So I would throw out the Tar Creeper so we only take 1 point of damage.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that means it's going to likely counterspell. Yeah. I mean, there are a few lists that are still running Ice Block, but the list I run has cut the Ice Blocks.
So next turn, Twilight Drake?
Yeah.
I think so.
The benefit is I mean, we have the coin, so we only have 4 spells in our deck.
Right.
So we're probably not going to get a coin Spiteful, but it will at least pop the counter spell.
That's correct. And then we'll just cast the Summoner on 6. And if he does counter this, then we'll follow it up with the Curious Glimmer Root. Dragon's Fury.
Okay, this is not.
It's big spell. It's big spell mage.
Yeah, so that could be Ice Block.
It could be. Let's find out.
Yeah, we're gonna do it anyways. Yep. And we get a 10 drop. And here comes Cthulhu.
Oh!
Oh, Deathwing!
Deathwing!
Ouch.
Always lucky. This is balanced in the Cthulhu from last time.
Yeah.
Well, how's he going to deal with that?
He's just going to freeze it.
He'll freeze the board over and over.
Now, this is either Big Spell Mage or this is that new Infinite combo.
So, I think what we do here
Spell Break
is we Spell Break
Deathwing.
Our Deathwing.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah. Because we're not going to have any silence targets on his end. Oh, this feels so good. Do we heal him?
It. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Meteor, you definitely want to keep playing minions to the left because we don't want to give him Meteor placement. Keep that Deathwing on the right.
That is correct.
I hate that he's on the right because any randomly generated minions are usually going to show up on the right. That's got to go.
I would play the operative. Hope that you get a Frostbolt.
Or left, yeah.
Dragon's Fury.
That's going to kill pretty much everything on the board except Deathwing. And it could kill Deathwing if we get...
That's true.
Get the mind control.
Ice Block could throw off his finisher, though.
That's true. It's real. You don't want Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Right.
So if you're not going to go Dragon's Fury, you got to go Ice Block.
Yeah, Dragon's Fury it's a board clear. I don't think we're going to need a board clear on him.
I would heal Probably the
Spellbreaker.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you're not anything that's going to do 10 points of damage to Deathwing is also going to do 12.
Right.
Right.
He's used 2 blizzards already. Oh, wow, 2 artificers. That's 14 armor. Holy jeez, he's a druid.
Yeah.
Well, he just killed off one of his artificers. We need to kill the other one off.
How about a Duskbreaker?
After we run the 4-3 into
Yep.
the 5-4.
Then after that, do we want to go ahead and heal Deathwing and Glimmerroot?
I would say heal
No, we can't
and
Glimmer.
Fairy Dragon.
Heal. That's what I meant. Heal and Fairy Dragon. Because we have the Cobalt Skullbane as activator. Yeah, yeah. Good. I probably would have put him in
dang
the
it!
middle.
Yeah, I should have put it in the middle because he can't.
I mean, I
yeah,
don't think he's going to
can't
run
target
Meteor in this list.
Jaina.
Jaina. This is kind of amazing.
All right, that elemental needs to die.
So
Bone Drake.
Bone Mare.
Bone Mare on the Fairy Dragon?
I think so.
I think so.
And then use it to clear.
Yep.
He is healing so much with all the armor. At least both of his armor generators are gone. He doesn't have an easy
heal Deathwing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much our only option other than our face. He can't. The good thing, he can't ping the Fairy Dragon.
Right.
So if we have to put something at 1 health, the Fairy Dragon's what we want to do. Oh, that's a slow turn for him.
Yeah.
It's up half his mana. We're going to want to sequence our damage in so we can get him as low to 1 as possible.
Yeah.
Time does melt away.
Oh, there's
Polymorph.
I can't believe it took him that long.
Well, that was his most recent card drawn. Actually, was that off of... No, that wasn't off of Cabal Stone.
I would say go ahead and play the Historian.
I don't think we get Deathwing.
I don't think we get Deathwing either.
No, but I think Malagos is...
I don't hate it. I mean, it does. It's a big body. It's really, we don't have any spells.
And then I think play the Talon Priest on the Fairy Dragon.
Okay, I like it.
And then Glimmerroot. And it's got to be Dragon Caller.
Yeah, I think it's Dragon Caller. I don't think this is Antonidas. It's got to be Dragon Caller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, run. Yeah.
Yep. 5, then 3. We're not going to pop this turn, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Heal our face, I guess.
Heal the face.
Yeah. But with his Blizzards gone, he'll have Flame Strike, but that doesn't clear the Bone Drake, but he can ping it. It doesn't clear the Fairy Dragon either. So that's a Firelands portal. But I don't know why he was pointing at the Frostbolt.
He's trying to get a...
Yeah, he's trying to get an elemental.
So we got to find a way to kill the elemental and pop his block, which we can do so far.
Well, if you kill the elemental, it gives him 6 health.
Well, if we do it with just the Fairy Dragon, it just gives him 3. And then we can pop him at...
We can pop him at 1.
1. Well, Hold on. You want to heal him first before you pop
Can't
it.
heal.
Yeah, you want to run. I run the Fairy Drake into the.
Oh,
3/6,
I got you. Yeah, I'm
then
sorry. I
pop
thought
his
you were
block,
talking
because
about healing the fairy
If
dragon.
you
I'm
pop
like,
his
what?
block and then let him heal,
Yeah.
then you can't do the damage, any more damage. So there you
Right.
go.
I would have
we-
run the 3/3 into the 2/3 and used the other 3/2s to pop, but
Oh.
Yeah, that's fine though. Well, that would have given him a ping target.
that's true.
We don't want him to have a ping target.
So I would heal the Duskbreaker
Yeah,
and then free for Amber.
yeah. I was wondering, should we free from Amber since now we have Dragoncaller Alana?
Oh,
Oh.
I would.
Oh.
I would.
You
Yasar's.
use ours every time.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. Is there an M world where we don't pick Yasar's? I'm Yasar's homeboy, so if I say
Yeah.
Yasar's, no one listens.
Oh, and he gave us Fairy Dragon. I wanted Grand Archivist wouldn't have helped us too much because he won't
No.
activate his end of turn. And Grand Archivist won't cast anything because Mind Control's done.
That's going to be an ice block
Yep.
and a ping target.
Yep. So we're gonna have to run Yashar's into that.
Hold on.
We can't pop if we do that.
We can bone
Yeah, you
mare.
can.
I mean, we
Mare.
pop first, but oh no, you're right. We can bone mare. Yeah.
I think you bone mare the Duskbreaker.
And then you'll need
Run.
to heal it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Run the bone mare into the.
Right. Run it into the elemental.
It's gonna pop him high, but that's fine. If he positioning, but that's still not terrible. That's a second ice block, and both are natural. So
Yes.
I'd like to see a corridor creeper off there, buddy. What's he gonna do? Now he's milling out. What can he do? He can't easily get a ping target.
Firelands portal.
You got to be kidding me. That might throw him off if he's wanting to. Well, he's only got 1 mana. That's game.
That's game.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, one more.
Yep. Yeah, this deck's a lot of fun. Just random stuff happens all the time. You never know what to expect.
Yeah, it's real neat. I mean, sometimes I have had games where I draw both free from Ambers and both Mind Controls before I get to Spiteful and Archivist, and those are tough games. And usually I don't win them. But sometimes it's nice to have a Mind Control that you cast from your hand, or a free from Amber where you get to pick the minion. So it's not always a complete loss.
I like this, except maybe throw the Scalebane back, or
You got the coin.
I mean, it's
You've
a
got
1,
turns
2, 3,
1,
4.
2, 3.
Yeah.
It's against the priest. You're not going to need a lot of board clear early. I don't know. I kind of like the hand.
Just keep it.
What do you think,
Yeah.
Zerachu?
You know, it doesn't seem right, but with the coin, I think having Scalebane on 4 is good. I'd keep it.
All right.
We don't
see
have
what
any
happens.
real crazy shenanigans with Potion of Madness, or the only weakness we have is against another Dustbreaker.
Right.
But we'll have a Cobalt Scalebane out there, so it's not that bad. That's great.
That was a really aggressive pain.
It was.
Ooh,
It
I like
was
this.
Historian. Yeah. Operative.
He's really wanting to.
operative.
Yeah, it's a snap pick.
Snowstorm.
As much as I love Snowstorm, you've got.
If it was all free for Amber, Snowstorm all day, every day, but you got to cast it. So we obviously don't want to use the coin when we don't need to use a coin.
Right.
Do we go ahead and Curious Glimmer just to kind of get an idea of what he's
Fairy
doing?
Dragon, but
No, I think you Glimmer Root.
okay.
Save your Fairy Dragon as Draconid activators.
Eternal Servitude.
I think
It's
Eternal
gotta be.
Servitude.
It's got to be because the other two aren't in any decks at all right now.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that tells us he's
I'll
Big
run,
Priest.
Know your meta.
I'll run one copy of Forbidden Shaping in my Big Priest.
You would.
That is
No, I mean, there's
definitely
good
a
reasons
Verseek
for it.
attack.
It's a flexible card that can get you a good 5-drop or 6-drop if you need it.
Exactly. And the deck is spell heavy, only running a few minions because I rely on Yasarj.
Uh-huh.
So
All right. So it's time to get this party started. Are we leading
I think-
out with the Cobalt or the Operative?
I think you lead out with the Cobalt and put the pressure on.
Make him use a board clear or try to get a board clear. I mean, he's on
Exactly.
turn 5. He can't even. Yeah, he can't even Dragon
You
Ball.
hope it hits the Historian.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
hit the Glimmer
Yeah, it
Root.
did. It's all right.
I just like it when it spreads the damage out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just healing.
Doesn't have a Dustbreaker, or he would have used it there.
Well,
All
he's
right.
not going to have a Dustbreaker in Big Priest.
It's
He's
time
gonna,
to just hit the gas, I guess.
Yeah, Draconid Operative.
Yeah. Dragonfire is not going to help him. I think you Psychic Scream just to be safe.
You know, the Psychic Stream has a lot of merit.
Okay.
I like it. And it's not in your deck, so it's not going to throw off your Archivist Summoner. Well, that Glimmer Root is glimmering. Like big time. He's swole. Do you even Glimmer Root, bro? Wow,
I think he's given up.
he's desperate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, that deck, the reason Big Priest has fallen out of favor is because of the Priest matchup. There's so many priests that are running just dragons.
Yeah.
The Dragonfire Potion is no longer an effective board clear for you.
Yep.
So you almost have to be running Psychic Screams, which is one. You have to survive one more turn, and it's already hard enough to survive to turn 6 with Big Priest. Trying to survive to turn 7 means that you have to put more emphasis on the early game Priest of the Feast. So, which was another reason why I run Forbidden Shaping in that deck, is because that is a 0 casting cost, heal for 3, or a 1 casting cost, heal for 3, get a minion, that type of thing. So.
Yep. All right. Just opened my second Grand Archivist. I only had the one.
You deserve that 40 dust pack.
Yeah. So,
And Ramesy brings up a very good point. Psychic Scream really messes up Big Priest. And that's another reason why the deck fell out of favor. Is one Psychic Scream, and you've wasted half of your deck bringing stuff back, and now it's in your deck at full cost. It's tough to come back from.
Also, if your opponent Psychic Screams and tosses, Northshire Clerics and Glimmer Roots into your deck, what are you going to pull with Barnes? What are you going to pull with Yasarj? What's going to come back with your Eternal Servitude? That's really not. Those are not good options. So, Big Priest. There are variations the Big Priest have adapted that with the meta a little bit, but really it's pretty much the third ranked Priest deck. Obviously, with that spiteful dragon hybrid thing going on, as well as Rizaka's Priest is still really good in the meta.
Yeah, I think Rizaka's Priest is what your higher end priest players are going to play because you can control the consistency. But that Spiteful Summoner, if you struggle with Highlander decks, the Spiteful Summoner Priest is a great all-around priest deck to climb the ladder because it does handle aggro decks if they get a moderate to slow start, and it can handle control decks because you're faster than the average control deck.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, I want to say thank you to everybody that joined us in chat tonight. It was a lot of fun having you there. I know there was a lot going on this evening in other programming, and we are glad you took the time to join us. So if you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you have not done so already, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted to when we go live. And for more details on our patron-only Discord or our Hero Power patron tournament, which is coming up February 3rd, you can find that information over at patreon.com/heropower. Until next week, good gaming.